All right, integer masters. For the first one, we have 10 minus 11. That's like starting at 10, or like an elevator starting on the 10th floor, and we're going to go down a total of 11. So to get to 0, that would be like subtracting 10. And of the original 11, I have negative 1 left. So the answer is negative 1, because that's where we end up. For D, it says negative 7 minus negative 10. For this one, let's look at it piece by piece. So negative 7 is the starting point. So that's like starting down here, below 0. And then it says minus negative 10. That's like subtracting weight from the house, and getting rid of weight is like addition because it brings the house up. So I know that this is going to go up 10. So let's go up 7 to get to 0, and then up 3 more to get our final answer of positive 3. For B, it's a negative 6 plus 10. That first number being negative is just the starting point. So if we have 0, we're going to start below 0 at negative 6, and we're going to add 10. So plus 6 gets us to 0, plus 4 gets us to positive 4, and that would be the final answer here, 4. Then we have 4 plus negative 9. This is like Carl's house starting 4 feet above sea level, and we're adding 9 weights. So adding weights to the balloon house is going to pull the house down. So really, this is like starting at 4 and going down 9. And if I were to do that, I could go down the first 4 to get to 0, and then go down 5 more to get to negative 5. All right, for the state test level rational number review problems, we have negative 1/2 plus 5/8. 1/2 and 5/8 are different sizes, so I need to make them have the same denominator. And I know that 2 is going to go into 8 because 2 is a factor of 8. And so I can multiply by 4 over 4 to get 4/8. And then I can rewrite this problem as negative 4/8 plus 5/8. And if we start at negative 4/8 and we add 5/8, that's going to go up. And we're adding a little bit more than 4/8, so I know we're going to get to 0, because that's the first 4/8. And of these 5/8, you should have 1 left over, so we go up that last 1/8, and we end up at positive 1/8, which is your answer. All right, and then F is the trickiest level. We have negative 75 hundredths minus negative 2/5. So I'm going to start off with that 2/5, and to turn it into a decimal, I have to find a fraction that's in tenths or hundredths. And I see that 5 is a factor of 10, so I'm going to do 5 times 2 is 10, and then 2 times 2 is 4. So I know that I can write this as 4/10, and I also know that 4/10 is the same as 40 hundredths. So now I'm going to rewrite this problem as negative 75 hundredths minus negative 40 hundredths. Last thing to figure out before I model it on the number line, is this going to go up or down? Well, this is just the starting point, so I know we're starting below 0, and then we're subtracting a negative. That's like subtracting weights, and subtracting weights makes the house go up. So this is sort of like an addition problem. So we're going to start at negative 75 hundredths, and we're going to go up 40 hundredths, which is going to get us closer to 0, but not actually passing 0. So it looks like these numbers are kind of going down because you're getting closer to 0. And your answer would be negative 35 hundredths. All right, and then 5 times 15, I know that that's 75. Then, when you have one negative, the answer is going to be negative when you're multiplying, because 5 and negative 15 have different signs. For h, we have negative 36 with the fraction bar and 12. That's like negative 36 divided by 12. And I know that 12 goes into 36 3 times, and then again. Same rules for multiplication. If the signs are different, or if you have one negative and you're dividing, then you should have a negative. All right, over here we have negative 4 divided by 4. Well, 4 divided by 4 is just 1, and then again, the signs are different, so the answer is going to be negative 1. Finally, we have negative 20 and the little high school symbol for multiplication times negative 4. So 20 times 4 is 80. All right, and last one, state test level challenge. We have an expression, a long line of math, and for any expression, you always use order of operations to determine it. And we're going to go from left to right because it's just all multiplication. All right, so we have negative 6 times negative 3. Since those have the same sign, they're both negative, I know that that's going to make a positive, positive 18. I'm going to bring down everything else. Then I have 18 times negative 10. I know that 18 times 10 is just going to be 180, but since the signs are different, I'm going to have a negative 180, or since there's one negative number there. And then I bring down the last part of the problem, which is times negative 2. And 180 times 2 is like doubling it, which would give me 360. And since they both have a negative sign, or the signs are the same, we're going to keep our answer as positive 360. Guys, you are rock stars if you checked your homework every night and you've stayed on top of your nightly homework because you're reviewing and doing everything you can to be a math genius. Thanks, guys. See you in class.